Well, hey, I'm back. Catherine Kirby here at Creative View Yarn Shop. It's been quite a break. I did 4 podcasts and put them into my computer and couldn't get them out. So it's been a little bit of break, but I'm back. It's springtime. It's been beautiful here in Hanover, Pennsylvania, and the trees are gorgeous. We've been getting a lot of heavy rains, but after the rains, everything looks so pretty. So I'd like to share some of the things that have been going on here at Creative View. I got myself all set up, and when I went to grab something, little Ellie here, sleeping here with her tongue sticking out on my notepad, jumped up on my spot, and so I just let her go and pulled up a chair. She's my best mate, as they'd say in Australia. Okay, so let's get on with it. Been doing some knitting and crocheting, as have my customers, and springtime is just a wonderful time to do crafting. Get out bright colors, spring colors, put away the autumn colors, and new adventures, new techniques. And so there's a lady that comes into my shop named Martha, and Martha is going to be a great-grandmother again, and she made this gorgeous blanket. Sorry, we have some reflection there. When I picked it up, I said, oh, this is so soft. And there goes my buddy. If she thinks that the FedEx guy is coming, she goes crazy for him. She'll jump off the couch in like a single bound to the door. She made it with Juniper Moon Niev yarn, which is a cotton yarn, but it's really nice and soft. And she made it out of the book, Leisure Arts, Our Best Knit Baby Afghans. And it was called the Pure White Pleaser. And she did it in white. It is so beautiful and sure to become an heirloom. So, Mary Whitener, who is also a regular at the shop, made a beautiful shawl called the Lettuce Wrap Shawl. And it has this pretty little ruffly edge. And this is done with an Aran weight yarn. It's a wool acrylic blend. It's nice and soft. Look at those colors. It took 2 skeins of Cadia Aztecta, and this is the color that she used. And all those beautiful colors hiding in there. And if you're used to doing finger weight shawls, let me tell you, an Aran weight shawl or a worsted weight shawl just flies. And it's like, wow, I'm done. I'm finished. So that is the Lettuce Wrap Shawl. That is by Yolanda, Sheehan. Sheehan. You know, so many people come in, they knit and crochet, they enjoy the free patterns. They don't have a clue who the designer is, and I think that we should give, fuzzies from the yarn, we should give more kudos to the designers. Write to them and say, thank you for the free pattern, or thank you for creating this beautiful pattern. I love it. I love making it. So that is that. And talking about putting away autumn colors, I couldn't resist these. This is a yarn that was put out by Crystal Palace, which is no longer in business. And it has these lace sections. And usually I don't knit a lot of fall colors. And you know how sometimes you just cast on things on a whim? And I couldn't remember the name of this shawl. So next time, one thing I've been trying to do when I do set up my project page on Ravelry if it says like kudo shawl, I will add with Aztecta or with Danube DK. And that way, when I try to find it in my project page, it's a lot easier. So next time, hopefully it'll be finished. I don't have too much to go. I have so many projects started and so many projects almost finished that I just gotta stop doing that. But it's like I can't help myself, and being here all day doesn't help. This is a Louisa Harding book called Abinthe, A-B-I-N-T-H-E. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And I came upon this cow pattern called Elderflower. Elderflower. There you go. And I had some yarn that I had bought for the shop that I wanted to try, and while it's pretty, I think it obscured the pattern. And they show it turned down like this. Unfortunately, this yarn really had a lot of stretch. I'm not going to mention the name, but after I blocked it, it was just too much stretch. But I think the pattern is worth doing again. The lace was pretty, so next time in a solid. And I do like her patterns. I think they're feminine and pretty and lacy, and it is kind of comical though to look back. This book was published in, let's see here, I'm not sure. Oh, 2011, so 8 years ago. And yet, when you look at some of the hats, how hats have evolved, and in today's world, that would be a short hat. So you just have to modify it and add some more stitches. And there's another picture of the cow worn in a different way. I mean, it is pretty. I just picked the wrong yarn, I think. It happens. So I had some yarn I had ordered in when I opened up the shop, and I've seen this yarn balled up under all different names, Mexicano, but it has these rectangular sections in it. And I also had some Crystal Palace Deco ribbon yarn. So I made my little granddaughter this top. It's called Girls Party Top. Not sure if you can still find it on Ravelry or not, because when Crystal Palace closed, some of the patterns disappeared. And I added the lime for some bling. And it was fun. I mean, these type yarns are fun. It's just a lot of times people don't know what to do with them. The border is crocheted, like a little peacoat edging. As far as how it feels on, how it wears, if it makes you sweaty, I don't know. Because while I was doing it, she grew. So I have to save it. Have to save it for someone else. You've all seen the Grandma's Dishcloth pattern where you start with like 3 stitches and yarn over and keep increasing, and how you can do the baby diagonal blankets the same way. Well, Cascade has a pattern on their website where you basically do the same thing, but about every 9 rows you put these little holes in it. And I thought this would just be a nice project to sit on the table and let people try out the Likey needles and try out the Cherry Baron yarn. And then when it's done, we can donate it to a pregnancy center and say it was made by the shop. So what have you all been doing now that it's nice outdoors? Our house is still torn up. It's been 3 months, but the painter's been there, and we have some rooms painted, and our bathroom really wasn't hit during the broken pipe and the water damage, but the ceiling was starting to crack, and I said to my husband, while we have this great worker, why don't we see if he'll do it? So my husband pulled out these books and books and books of paint samples. Hold on one second. And he kind of went overboard. And as soon as I saw this little card with like a slate blue and a lighter slate blue, that's what I picked, because our bathroom is split with a chair railing. You know, when I came home and it was painted, we opened the door and there's that initial disappointment, because maybe because of the color we had under it, I don't know, it didn't look like a slate blue, it looked like a bright blue, but I'll get over it and I'll get used to it. But when he brought these home, and he brought home a pile of them, I said, you know what? These would be great for like planning shawls when you're not sure like what colors to make your shawls. Now, granted, the yarn shop may not have those exact colors, but it's a really good idea. Hey, nothing going out. See ya.
See ya.
My friendly mailman. So I kept a bunch of these and just thought it might be a good idea to get some ideas, because a lot of times for houses they'll pick 3 colors, and you know when you see a shawl on Ravelry and you see all the plain colors, and then you see somebody that really got creative with color, it just really stands out. It just really stands out. So anyway, I'm going to keep some of these and see if I can use them to help people be creative. So they're in Hanover, where we live. They're famous for their trotter horses, and they have the stables. You can actually walk through the stables, and this time of year you see the beautiful mothers in the stalls with their newborns or pregnant mothers, and usually you can go up until about the beginning of June. So yesterday we had our little grandson Tobin. He's 4, and you know, he's at that stage where they like to talk about poop and pee and stuff like that, and you know, you may as well join the party, because you're not gonna change the way they are at that age. And one time I saw a little boy I know start talking about that stuff, and his grandmother hauled off and walloped him, and I didn't know what to do or say. That's what they are at that age. They're very inquisitive. And so I said to my husband, I got home, it was 1 hour until time to open the shop, and I said, hey, let's run out to the horse farm. And my husband, he's very structured, and I was shocked when he said, yeah, let's go. And so all the babies have been born. The youngest one was 1 day old. I wish I had taken pictures. Seeing it get up on its wobbly legs is really amazing. And holding my little grandson up, and you'd hear this noise, and it's the baby getting in the empty bucket trying to get some more food, and they'd pop their head up and look at him. Of course, the girl was mucking out the stables. There was a sign out that said help wanted, and I said to my husband, hey, you could get a job mucking out stables. He's like, yeah, right. So 3-year-olds get really sensitive to smell. They won't go in a place that stinks. So he was a little, oh, what stinks? But, you know, he went along in. But his 2 highlights on the trip were, this is what he related to his mom, that on the way, the drive, we saw like big diggers. We saw lifts with guys on top of tall buildings. Amazing stuff. But his big thing was he saw a dog pooping with the poop stuck, and he saw a cow peeing. What are you going to do? They're 4-year-olds. So then we came to the shop, and 2 customers came in, and one lady said, "Can I use your bathroom?" "Sure." So he looks around and he says, "Where's that customer?" And you know, one of the cute things about little kids is they have no filters. They don't know what's socially acceptable, but one of the embarrassing things about kids is the same thing. So her friend is mulling around the shop, and he says, "Where's that customer?" And I said, "She's in the bathroom." And he said, "Is she pooping or peeing?" I thought, oh goodness, the life of a 4-year-old. So on with the show. Hopefully you've been having more excitement than that. My husband and I have been taking beautiful drives at sunset. The skies have been amazing, like lilacs and peaches and pinks. So Ellen, who comes into the shop, bought a book called Leisure Arts Tunisian Dishcloths and made this dishcloth. This is a yarn that is like a thick Aran weight cotton, and the color changes were just perfect for this pattern. With the same yarn, I made a little baby top, and right at this moment, I don't see the cute little baby top, but I'll come to it. So we've been playing around with Tunisian crochet, and it's a lot of fun. The different stitches, there are really neat tutorials on YouTube, and I recommend learning the simple stitches first. If you've never done Tunisian crochet, you set out picking up all your stitches and then take them all off and then put them all back on your hook. So you need an elongated hook, and if you do a blanket, you need a hook with a cable, but it's just another dimension to your crochet adventure. And I've been playing around and doing some neat things, and I've also just been kind of on a crochet binge. So this is called the Boho Pineapple Scarf, and I decided to use a cotton yarn because I think for summer you want to wear these things, but you don't want to be hot and sticky, and we live in an area that gets very humid. So you start out by casting on, it is a free pattern, it's by Taylor Tangleson, and it's called the Boho Pineapple Scarf. You start out by casting on 252 stitches, so it's a lot of stitches. Your rows go really fast. You start out with a small hook, and then you change to a big hook. And when I finish my next couple rows, then I go back to the beginning and do all of this on the other side. So it's really going to be pretty, and I can't wait to show you. This is Ella Ray Phoenix DK print yarn. I've made other things out of this in the past. This is what a skein looks like. There's lots of yardage packed in here. This was a little preemie sweater that we did. It's a pattern called Sam, Sadira, and Katie, and it gives you 3 patterns in one, and it's done in one piece. Nice and perfect for spring, summer, and even into fall, but by then your baby's going to grow. So next podcast, I'll have that finished. And I've shown this before, but same yarn, and this is called the Road Trip Scarf. And again, just a nice lightweight shawl for summer. The shawl that I'm wearing is our most popular pattern in the shop. It's called Henslow, and it has a beautiful lace bind off and a garter stitch beginning. And this yarn is called Air Luxe by Katia. and it feels great around your neck. It has a shimmery but not metallic look. Okay, also playing with crochet. I've been doing a pattern called the May Queen shawl, and it's a boomerang, and it is a paid pattern. And when you buy the pattern, she has like 3 pages of all these different ways to wear a boomerang shawl. It's amazing and delightful. Her name is Adrienne Lash, L-A-S-H. Again, it's the May Queen shawl, and I'm doing this in a yarn that I really like. It is a Kramer yarn, which is a Pennsylvania company, made in the USA, spun in Nazareth, PA. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's a nice kind of multicolored semi-tonal yarn. You can make socks out of it. It is a #1 yarn. This is Loganberry colorway, 44% cotton, 43% acrylic, and 13% nylon. I think it's going to be really, really pretty. And then, while I was doing this, I have some yarn called Cadia linen. And when you feel it, it feels stringy and tough. But the thing about linen is after it's washed, it transforms into this amazing, luxurious stuff. And so I I'm crocheting, but I started one in that, and it feels rough and something you wouldn't want to own. But what I'm going to do is make it, and then I'm going to just wash half of it so that people can see the before and after and be tempted to use linen. So I'll have 2 May Queen shawls, and then this is Knitting Fever Kaleidoscope, the bulky. And so I was playing around yesterday doing Tunisian crochet, and this is called the mesh stitch. And I wish it were a lighter color so you could see it better, but it's so easy. You just skip every other vertical bar, yarn over, skip every other vertical bar, and it's fast. And I thought I would do a whole scarf with it. I was just playing around, and I did it's called the knit stitch, but the knit stitch curls, and it's a neat thing, but you gotta really block it. And for me, it loses some of its practicality because the back side is so heavy that it flips it over. So I don't know if I could interject it into this or not. There, that shows you a little better, the mesh stitch. So I want to play around, experiment, and learn what I can. And when I was showing you Ellen's dishcloth, the Cadia Bari yarn, B-A-R-I, that was the little baby sweater I did. I didn't put my little button on yet, but the collar changes were just perfect for this pattern. This pattern is called Penguin. Penguin, is that how you say it? It's a free pattern. It's a quick knit. You start up here, close off your little sleeves, and it's an Aran weight cotton yarn, nice and lightweight. And now I'm doing the Baby Sophisticate sweater out of the same yarn because I see how it looks in garter stitch, but I want to see how it looks in stockinette stitch. Okay, the Kitty Cadet hat. Cute for a little boy. Unfortunately, when I made this for my little grandson, he tried it on, but it was a little bit too small. Seems to happen to me a lot with my with my grandkids, just too small. So, I mean, he tried it on. This is the pattern by Alice Nebley. Sorry, we have a lot of glare there. Called the Kitty Cadet Hat. I believe it's a free pattern, and I could see little girls wearing it too, and I could see experimenting with colors and stripes. I like the top a lot. I think if I remember, you actually start out down here and then pull it together at the top. So the Kitty Cadet Hat, and then your brim is double, so it stands out. Really a cute pattern. Alrighty. I got a new yarn in, and I had started the local yarn shop day shawl. It's like a cow with a shawl in the round, and when the pattern initially came out to the yarn shops, it didn't tell you to join in the round. It was just a missed thing, and then later it was re-edited. So I didn't realize that the pattern wasn't going to work with the worsted weight yarn, but this is a yarn. It's called Kensia, and a lot of people will shy away from these flat yarns. They just look at them and they can't picture. So I chose a Kramer yarn. It's a cotton acrylic yarn called Tatami Tweed, worsted weight, and I put the Kensia in the middle. Of course, because I wasn't joined in the round, my stitches were different. And then I'm going to add the Brown Sheep Serendipity Tweed as a third. So since I can't run that pattern, I think I'm just going to develop it into a pretty cow and keep going. But that's how pretty that yarn knits up. Certainly nothing to be afraid of. So get a little adventuresome. Don't be afraid of yarns that don't look like the typical strand of yarn. And just want to see if there's anything else I should be bragging about. I do have a Facebook page, and I post a lot of my customers' things on Facebook. And this was a trip that we took to the battlefield. That was one of the monuments, and there's a long shot. There's one of the monuments. I'd like to learn more, like the big figure at the top. It's obviously an angel, a black angel. Is it the angel of death? I need to research it. That's the Pennsylvania monument, and there's the soldiers in relief. And that's just kind of a long shot of a part of the battlefield. You can take a car tour. There's another monument. So they have all the different state monuments. And there's another shot of the Pennsylvania monument. This was a little sweater that Mary Whitener made, made out of Babe Soft Cotton Worsted, made out of one of the Babe Soft Cotton Worsted books. Really, really cute. And this was a sweater made by one of my customers, made out of James Brett Marble Chunky and the Knitting Pure and Simple pattern, which is a bulky pullover for kids. And then that is like the little sweater I showed you earlier, Sam, Sadira, and Katie, but done in Rialto DK print. Grandma thought she was expecting twins and then just one baby. That's my little grandson Tobin, so proud because he wrote his name by himself. Look at that skinny little kid. And then this is his brother at Grandparents' Day. Yep. And then this was a simple cable cow I did, but I decided to put in a strand of a sparkly yarn. It's called Sparkles. And when I finished it, I thought that looks kind of dumb. But when, I rolled it down and put it on, I really liked it. So sometimes if you don't like what you make, just put it away for a while. It's my granddaughter Taylor. We took her out for her birthday to Gettysburg. We live about 16 miles from Gettysburg, and it's a nice trip and a nice sunset ride for us. And at Grandparents' Day, don't you love that age when they're not self-conscious yet and they just sing out? There's my granddaughter Gabby. We took her to the playground up the street, which one day I took my grandson Tobin. It's a school, elementary school, and I took him up there after closing, and I took Ellie. And so we're having a blast, and all of a sudden the doors open, and all these kids and teachers come out. I'm like, oh no, after school club. So we kind of hid down in the lower level. This was Girl Bunny with Dottie Dress, and that's her shown in pieces. And that's her after she was assembled, and definitely not perfect. One ear slightly off, one leg kind of turns in, but it takes longer than you think. I mean, if I did one again, I would be better at it. And then that's one of our gals that comes to Tuesday Night Knit In that embroidered this amazing, I think queen size quilt. And wow, all we could really say was wow, wow, wow. So I think that's probably it. I'm so close to finishing so many things, and I can't wait to show you. And I can't wait to hear what you all have been doing. And hopefully I can get back on my regular schedule. The podcasts that are stuck in my computer, who knows if I should even pull them out at this point, because I would probably be talking about winter time. And so whatever you're doing, just shine. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just knit, crochet, weave, embroider, and just let it develop into whatever it develops. My little daughter Gabby, granddaughter Gabby that I showed, she came one Saturday and she just knit all day long. And yeah, she had dropped stitches and she had holes, but I just kind of held back and just let her go, because I remember when I was a kid, my grandparents took me and my two sisters bowling. And yeah, you throw a lot of gutter balls and you don't realize what you're doing. And my grandmother was just trying to help me, but I felt like she was constantly on me. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to hold your arm. I just kind of ruined it. So I just kind of sat back and thought, let her just get the repetitive motion going and let her just have fun with it. And same with you. All of us do a lot of negative knitting, negative crocheting, where we put it on and we take it off, but it's all part of the process. So whatever you're doing out there, shine baby shine, and I'll see you the next time. Signing out. Bye-bye.